The New Age movement has faced various criticisms and controversies over the years, stemming from both internal and external sources. Some of the common criticisms include lack of rigor and depth. Critics argue that the New Age movement often promotes superficial or simplistic approaches to spirituality, self-help, and personal growth, lacking the depth and rigor of traditional religious or philosophical systems. Some view New Age beliefs and practices as overly eclectic, cherry-picking ideas without a coherent framework or critical analysis. Commercialization and consumerism. The New Age movement has been accused of commercializing spirituality and turning spiritual teachings into marketable products. Critics argue that the proliferation of books, workshops, retreats, and products marketed under the guise of New Age spirituality can exploit people's vulnerabilities and perpetuate materialistic values. Pseudoscience and magical thinking. Some critics view New Age beliefs and practices as pseudoscientific or based on magical thinking, lacking empirical evidence or rational scrutiny. Concepts such as the law of attraction, energy healing, and psychic phenomena are often criticized for their lack of scientific validity and potential for exploitation. Cultural appropriation. The New Age movement has been criticized for appropriating and commodifying indigenous spiritual traditions, practices, and symbols without proper respect for their cultural origins or context. Critics argue that this can perpetuate cultural stereotypes, erode traditional knowledge, and disrespect indigenous peoples and their spiritual heritage. Escapism and avoidance. Some critics view New Age spirituality as a form of escapism or avoidance, offering temporary relief from life's challenges without addressing underlying issues or systemic injustices. Critics argue that an excessive focus on positive thinking, personal empowerment, and spiritual bypassing can overlook social and political realities and perpetuate privilege and inequality. Lack of critical thinking and skepticism. The New Age movement has been criticized for promoting uncritical thinking, credulity, and susceptibility to pseudoscientific and paranormal beliefs. Critics argue that a lack of skepticism and critical inquiry can lead to susceptibility to manipulation, deception, and exploitation by charismatic leaders or fraudulent practitioners. Egocentrism and narcissism. Some critics argue that New Age teachings emphasizing personal empowerment, self-improvement, and individual fulfillment can foster narcissistic tendencies and a self-centered worldview. Critics caution against an excessive focus on self-help and personal development at the expense of empathy, compassion, and social responsibility. It's important to note that these criticisms are not universally applicable to all individuals or aspects of the New Age movement, and many practitioners engage with spirituality and personal growth in thoughtful, sincere, and meaningful ways. However, these criticisms highlight some of the challenges and controversies surrounding the New Age movement and underscore the importance of critical inquiry, cultural sensitivity, and ethical discernment in spiritual pursuits.